So in the case of an earthquake or a tsunami, they feel that God has actually intervened in the natural order.
In the past decade, there's been a significant amount of increase in earthquake activity. 10 years ago, about 1,500 earthquakes a year. Today, you're looking at more like 2,000 earthquakes a year. I don't think people can fathom the effect of a Category 10 earthquake. It would take out entire cities, millions of tons of falling buildings, thousands of deaths. It would be a massive catastrophe with a massive death toll.
And Eyjafjallajökull was a relatively small eruption. Much larger eruptions are possible.
A supervolcano, or a supervolcanic eruption, is a term used to describe an eruption which blasts over 1,000 cubic kilometers of material. This is an eruption we've not seen before during our time.
In the heart of the American West, a well-known and well-loved attraction has the power to kill 1 billion people or more.
One good example of a supervolcano is actually Yellowstone National Park, where there's thousands of tourists going there every year without realizing that they are walking on top of a supervolcano.
The Yellowstone supervolcano's next eruption is overdue.
Following a supervolcano of that size would cause so much air pollution, it would affect farming, and over a long part of time, it would affect the economy of the country and eventually the world.
The supervolcano at Yellowstone National Park is likely to erupt sometime in the future, and because of this, scientists are carefully monitoring the area to actually look for signs which might be an early warning system in terms of future eruption. So we monitor earthquakes, ground deformation, gas composition, and use this to try and help predict when the volcano would erupt.
8 centuries ago, the aging prophet Malachi struggles with bleak visions of the future. He foresees deadly calamities as described in the book of Revelation. Destruction, death, and disease spreading across the earth.
Revelation 6:8 speaks of the fourth horseman of the apocalypse who rides on a pale horse, who's associated with pestilence and death.
Could the end of mankind include diseases passed from person to person? An invisible killer?
A virus is one of the simplest life forms. It's transmitted usually from human to human through touch, through aerosol sneezing, through touching objects that other people have touched before you.
The deadliest plague in human history began in the United States in 1918. The Great Influenza lasted less than 2 years, but infected 500 million people from every country on the planet.
So you had a high transmission rate. It was highly communicable, but it wasn't too deadly. So it killed a lot of people back then, but not as many as the virus today would kill.
If the Great Influenza could travel so efficiently in the era of steamships and locomotives, how quickly could a new world epidemic spread? Will we be able to overcome a viral superbug?
If antibiotic resistance evolves beyond the human ability to fight it off, it could essentially wipe out the entire human race.
800 years ago, in the hills above Rome, an Irish monk named Malachi writes a prophecy that traces a path to a catastrophic end of existence. Malachi knows from his reading of the Bible that when the end times come, an unstoppable pestilence, the most deadly ever known, will cover the earth. In 2011, Dutch virologists experimenting with a killer H5N1 strain managed to create a new version of the virus, every bit as deadly but far more contagious than the original. And worst of all, their new virus is airborne.
In the Netherlands, Dr. Ron Fouché was able to create an influenza virus that was transmitted very efficiently and also killed very efficiently, between 60 and 70%.
The new influenza that they're producing in the laboratories today can kill 1 out of every 2 people. They're deadly. Should that virus get out, it would kill billions of people across the world. There isn't a government anywhere that's prepared for a pandemic of that level.
This virus is not going to be a respecter of persons. You're going to have leaders of nations that are going to die. You're going to have systems coming unhinged, the military coming unhinged.
At the beginning, people won't realize how bad it is or how deadly the virus is until the vaccines don't work, and then people start dying.
There would be anarchy, people rioting in the streets. It would be chaos as the world has never seen before.